Hi and welcome to another episode of Geekified. You're here with the team, Nathan and Tony.
Hello.
How you doing, folks? So one of the things that we always said that we were going to do is a kind of news roundup for everything that's happening in the movie and TV world, anything that gets kind of broken through. So we've got some stuff here that both Nathan and Tony don't know what I'm going to talk about. So everything, again, the way we do it in this show, we don't discuss it. Everything's really fresh. You get a really raw, natural reaction to the stuff that we talk about. So because we haven't done a news roundup really for quite some time, since one of the first episodes, we're going to cover some of the stuff that's happened over the past maybe month, and just a quick discussion to see what we think of some of the things that are coming up in the wonderful world of cinema and TV and MCU and all fun, geeky stuff. So we'll get started. First things first, obviously we know that SheHulk is coming in to the MCU. It's been talked about for quite some amount of time, and we've had the names flung in the ring for quite some time as well. We've still, to this date, had no confirmation as to who is the winner or who has been officially cast as Jennifer Walters. So we definitely know that it's a possibility of two, and it looks like we have a lead runner as of last week. And the two that were in the ring, first one is Alison Brie from Glow and Community and loads of stuff that she's been in. Then the other one was a bit of a strange one. So if you haven't actually watched the main show she was from, people wouldn't really know who she was. And it's Tatiana Maslany. So I don't know if you guys have heard of her before.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah.
That was
So Tatiana Maslany is from Orphan Black. So it was a TV show that ran. It's very, very good. It was basically about clones, and she managed to play probably about 18 to 25 clones in the show, and every single one of them was completely different. And I'm sure I can't remember how many awards she's won, but she's won like a stupid amount of awards for her performance in it. So it's quite an interesting character, and obviously the other person who was up for it was Alison Brie, who's pretty damn famous now. Mm-hmm. So it was just, what do you think of those two being in the ring, and obviously with Tatiana Maslany being the leader at the moment?
I've never heard of her. I think it depends. If they go with someone like Alison Brie, obviously she's quite sort of slight, so it'll be almost like the opposite Chris Evans, where it'll be making her bigger when she turns into the SheHulk. So that may be quite interesting. It suggests that they're casting her. It's going to be more along the lines of like Ant-Man and some of the Thor stuff, a bit more sort of comedy orientated. Which seems to be the way they're going with a lot of the Marvel stuff now. So might fit in quite well. Yeah.
And what about? Oh, you obviously don't know Tatiana Maslany. I'd highly recommend to watch it, Nathan. It's actually a very, very good sci-fi show.
Yeah, I'm trying to look her up. Do you know how to spell her first name?
Tatiana.
Tatiana.
I don't know if
I think it was you that said to me before, Chris, that the girl from, I always forget her name, Rosa Diaz in Brooklyn Nine-Nine was linked with it at one point.
She was originally in the running, but that was quite some time ago, and she just obviously faded away. So unless Marvel are going to do the amazing trick that they always do and pull it completely blindside you and give you someone different, it'd be quite interesting.
What about that girl, former MMA fighter that was in The Mandalorian? She might be quite a good shout for it.
Gina Carano.
What's her name? That's the one.
I think that's probably leaning too hard to SheHulk, because if you go to the comics, she is, like you said about Alison Brie, quite slight and she just looks like a very, very normal woman. She doesn't look big or anything.
I only know her from playing Fortnite, so I wouldn't know.
Very true. Me and Nathan play Fortnite together because we're cool. Don't care what anyone says. Feel free to slag us in the comments if you wish.
Just quickly Googling and looking, and if I was casting, I would go with Tatiana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just looking at pictures, what she's done before really quickly. And as vain as it is, this industry is all about how you look, and I think she would be a really good fitting.
She looks like Jennifer Walters.
Yeah.
She's got that look about her.
Mm-hmm.
And I genuinely would say just give yourselves one episode of Orphan Black. I don't know where it's available just now. I'm sure we'll be able to find it somewhere, pirate. But
yeah. But I think more important is it's, again, as well, all MCU, and obviously me being a ridiculous fan of it, it's how do they do the story? How do they introduce? What's the background? What's the main thing? Again, I keep going about why the MCU was so successful is they grounded it in reality to a degree, like when it started off, to allow us to go as crazy as it has been now. But this is grounding back into reality character again. So it's,
well, you know the story of
yes.
how they're doing it.
So I don't know if they're going to go with like the originals or
the blood. It's got blood transfusion is the story it looks like they're running with.
Going for that. So I don't know if they're going to like.
I think what it looks like is Bruce Banner knows that his blood will save his cousin because he knows what his blood is.
Right.
So she's going to die, and he basically says, "Take a transfusion from me." So he knows that there's a danger in it, and then basically gives it. And it looks like that's the kind of story. I'm sure it's been retconned quite a few times, different variations of it, but it looks like that's going to be the story, is the blood transfusion.
And then that means that might open up for Red Hulk. General Ross might steal that blood once that's out of his system.
Ah, there you go.
I bet that's how they bring in that whole...
That's a banging theory, Tony. I like that.
That'll be the end credit. General Ross and the vial of blood. I've got it. Finally, I've got it.
Yeah, because you still don't know how he's going to do it. Because obviously, it looks like we're getting the Thunderbolts, and it is one of the things I'm about to talk about as well, which is quite funny. You should say that.
That'll be the link to the Thunderbolts. It has to be.
Mm. So yeah, it was one of the stories a little bit further on the list. We're going to talk about. Kind of ties in a little bit with that. But yeah, well, I think Tatiana Maslany is a fantastic casting. So if I manage to do that, I'll be. They're
both are fantastic actresses, and well, I've seen obviously the first, but I can see the casting they're going for.
Yeah, so, she looks the part.
Yeah.
Next story that came up probably about 2-3 weeks ago now, so it's a little bit older, but I think it's really, really up for debate. This one, and we're looking at Spiderman 3, which has officially begun filming. We've now know that Tom Holland's on set. He's doing everything there. He's probably told his mum, the dog, and whoever served him a coffee at a cafe the whole story of the whole bloody script by now, because we all know what he's like, but we all love him. But so we know that it's been officially confirmed now that Jamie Foxx is returning as Electro. Mm-hmm. I can see Tony's face. Yeah, Tony makes. So you just made the exact same face that I made when I read it. I went, "Oh, really?" And I've got no qualms with Jamie Foxx. Like Jamie Foxx is.
Jamie Foxx so much.
Love him. I think he's one of the suavest, coolest actors that we've got going just now. But Electro was pish, man.
It was awful.
Yeah, that's the script and the director, isn't it? So you bring it into the under Marvel and do it differently, you know. Because I mean, if be honest with you, other than the last two and maybe the very, very first one with Tobey Maguire, the rest of the Spider-Mans haven't been great. You know, they've not been particularly. They've been watchable, but nothing great. The Andrew Garfield, both of them were a bit pish, to be honest. But so I think that you bring it under Marvel and make them completely in control of it, then you might see a completely different style of Electro. You probably won't look this. They'll make him look different. They'll do a lot of things differently with him.
Jamie Foxx has said that. So he put up an Instagram post. If I can find it, I'll pop it up on the screen somewhere here or here. But it was deleted very swiftly. And then after that, obviously, because he posted it, they obviously had to make it official news. And then it did come up. So that leads to the question of what are they doing?
That's the multiverse with Doctor Strange. Has to be.
Yeah. It's not even that. They're just ignoring the Sony films. They're not part of their timeline because they've already done they've changed how, because obviously in the Sony films they had Tobey Maguire getting bitten and all that sort of stuff, and then they rebooted it with Andrew Garfield again, and then with Tom Holland it's been rebooted again and it's a different story again, so they can pretend that he's not been there at all.
Yeah, but I might have been dreaming, but did I not hear also that they were going to get Maguire in Garfield back in the Spider-Man costume to do the multiverse with 3 Spider-Men.
You're very correct.
Possibly.
The next part of the questions I'm going to ask you is, we now have got official confirmation that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are in talks to return.
Yeah, so they're doing this, and then that's what it is.
Under no guise of what they're doing.
That'll be a cool. But then you've got to think, okay, if you need 3 Spider-Men, what are they going to go up against?
Yeah, I know.
Is this just because of the back of the success of the cartoon? What was it called?
Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, which was obviously now that Miles Morales has his own PS4 game coming out as well, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Miles Morales is one of the most loved versions of Spider-Man. Like, he's absolutely huge. The sales for the Miles Morales comics are absolutely incredible. But to bring Miles Morales, you're effectively getting rid of Peter Parker and all the stories you're going to get with him, which is so many people our age are kind of more close to than Miles Morales, because that came out obviously when we were a bit older. So a bit strange to kind of erase a wee bit of history in that sense. Mm-hmm. But I think it'd certainly be very interesting if we end up with 3 Spider-Men all in the one film. But it's obviously evident, given the fact that DC seem to have the kind of popularity buzz come with like people like Michael Keaton returning, and then the Flashpoint story, that Marvel have to do this multiverse thing as well. But this is obviously to do with Scarlet Witch anyway.
Oh yeah, because she causes it, doesn't she?
Yeah, she shatters the multiverse.
Yeah, and then Doctor Strange needs to piece it back together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, I think that Doctor Strange is going to almost have to kill her to get her to stop.
Yeah. But then you know, it might be a case where they might not be physically returning. They might just be using old footage, and they'll get obviously a credit and paid for it.
Oh no, it looks like it. From what the reports are, is that they're to return to set for filming.
Yeah.
So
whoever's got write that script. That's just
whoever's trying to keep up with all the parts of that script must have their brains fried.
Yeah. It's like pebbles in an ocean or a pond. That's just crazy.
Yeah. And the last thing with Spider-Man 3, about the news that came out, is the title. So we don't actually have the title, but we do know, and it was officially confirmed months and months ago, that all 3 of the trilogy have home in it. So the last 2 that have just came out as possible the leaks is Spider-Man 3 Homesick. I don't think that works.
Because he's already returned. Yeah, why is he homesick? Of what?
Yeah, I know. But then the last one, which I think is probably correct, which came out about 3 days ago, and it looks like another leak came from it, is Spider-Man 3 Homeworld.
World.
I was going to say Home Planet or Home World.
Yeah, the universe, the world. Yeah.
They've gone a bit more sort of space orientated, haven't they? And obviously the ones that they announced for the next phase, other than Black Widow, are more sort of mystic and space orientated. So I think that probably fits in with that, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so definitely. I think
5.
at home, I'd put money on it being Homeworld. What phase is it on now? Sorry?
What phase is it on now? What phase is it on now?
The phases are done.
I thought it was phase 4.
No, they're officially said phases are not talked about anymore. Yes.
All right.
Oh, I think it's tiers now. 0, 1, 2, 3.
Compartments.
Yeah.
Marvel Compartment 2.
Yeah. Nicholas Sturgeon's not doing it. It's tiers now.
Yeah, so that looks like I'm going to go with, if I was a betting man, I'd put money on Spider-Man 3 Homeworld.
Yeah, that sounds quite cool.
But with that, obviously...
For all these leaks, very early for all these leaks.
Yeah. Well, he's on set, that's the problem. So I think it is. This is the time for leaking of the titles.
I think you'll find that once cinema starts up again properly, all these studios are going to have to make a lot of money to get back into the red, into the black. So there's going to be there's going to be probably 2022 now is going to be a phenomenal year for cinema. There's going to be a big, massive film coming out all the time.
Yeah, I think the summer blockbuster, I think it's going to be like a year blockbuster.
Oh, it's going to be mental.
It'll be huge, and I think they'll go for the big merchandise hitters. Spiderman, huge. That would be So
Next up on our news list was probably the most maybe the second most recent one. We knew the film was coming. Most people don't know the character, which is a very strange kind of bizarre character that we're getting, and a very violent character as well, which is quite interesting. But the character is MOONKNIGHT. Is coming to the MCU. We knew that
it was a TV show. I read that one.
It might be. I don't know. I'm actually not certain if it was announced.
Oscar Isaacs, yeah.
Correct.
Oscar Isaacs. Yeah. I read it was going to be a Disney Plus series.
Well, there you go. You're getting even more news. So, Oscar Isaacs getting the role. How do we think about that?
Love him.
Great actor.
Great actor. Yeah. I want more of him in more films and more and everything.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that film a couple of years ago? It's not a sci-fi thing, but it's him and Olivia Wilde, and it's called... I can't remember what it's called now. And it's like all this like mad story with him and his girlfriend, and she gets run over at the start. He's in that. It's fantastic.
No, don't know that one.
I need to remember the name of it.
Stick a link in the description. We'll spin the name of it for anyone who is confused by that.
And obviously, in Ex Machina, he plays a bit of sort of Machiavellian, quite sort of twisted character. So
Ex Machina was brilliant. His character in that is the disco dancing scene with the robots.
Yeah,
it's quality, absolute quality. But yeah, Oscar Isaac joining the MCU is really, really interesting because you're raising the caliber again. You're bringing the young, kind of really, really big talent into it. Where a guy that you would expect to kind of go along the lines of maybe even bypassing all the comic book world and just staying fully fledged away from it. He's joining it. So interesting, very interesting.
I don't know much about Moon Knight, but I always remember he very much looks like Batman. So I wonder if they do a little tongue-in-cheek, like a little throwaway joke about that.
Probably, yeah. He's just Moon Knight was uber violent. Everything. I never properly read any of his stuff, but I think he turns up in a couple of crossovers, the comics I read when I was younger, but he's super violent.
Yeah. So I wonder if they'll grind him back into, like maybe like a rogue Shield, like almost like Black Widow who went rogue missing or something. Or
I'm just curious if they follow the roots, because obviously they completely nerfed Venom when that came out. Because Venom is literally just destruction, carnage. He actually bites people's heads off and rips their limbs off, but there was none of that in the film. Like, not even a speck of blood was seen in the film. I don't think, if I remember right. I think the worst thing they said in the film was pussy.
Yeah.
But I think to take it like something like Moon Knight and absolutely nerf him as well and make him really, really soft would be a bit strange. But then again, they're wanting more characters and more actors now, aren't they?
That's the thing, but I always said this once Disney came over, I knew it was going to go softer.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think Disney. All Disney really cares about is making money, to be honest. And you've seen things like Logan, Deadpool, Joker, made a ton of money, being obviously adult based. So I don't think you'll necessarily. I did read a thing about Disney might be having a more sort of not. Inside the Disney Plus platform, they're going to have an adult section.
Please.
Most people have places have a kids section. They'll have a more adult section, which will have things like that in it. So
that would be good, because I don't think they should shy away from it. Because if you've got things like Blade coming up, I mean, how do you make Blade? Blade's a sweary, destructive sociopath that kills vampires. How do you make that for kids? It's near impossible.
Yeah.
So why not have?
Especially the first Wesley Snipes Blade films. It's a phenomenal film, and it's violent and bloody as anything. The blood shower at the start, even. You couldn't have that in a 15, could you?
But that's what you had in the comics as well. Comics for Blade were brutal, really, really gory. And you've already got a great guy who's playing Blade, who according to the records, and it looks like he said he asked to play Blade. And I always get his bloody first name wrong. Mahershala Ali. Yeah, what an incredible actor! He's phenomenal, and the fact that he went to Marvel and said, "Can I play Blade?"
Yeah.
Feige's like, "Sorry, what?" Yes, if that was a question, yeah.
You know what would be crazy cool is if you know how in the first Blade film, I always forget Stephen Dorff's character's name. If Keanu Reeves played that character and you had Mahershala Ali as the Blade, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That's another one. So we still don't know what's happening with that. Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Can't which.
He's been in talks forever about an MCU role.
Yeah, but he signed up for, is it 2 more or 3 more John Wick films, I think?
Yeah. We've got the Continentals coming, Star Wars in the work.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's in that much. I think it's in the same universe, but he's not, from what I read, he's not going to be in that, particularly in like this episode or every now and again, but he won't be in it all the time. And he'll carry on doing the John Wick films separate.
I know, I love the John Wick universe, so just if that gets expanded, I'll be over the moon.
Yeah.
And then I've only got one more thing for this episode, one little bit of news. And the last one, I'm pretty sure Nathan will like this one. It looks pretty much like we're going to get a Green Lantern casting, and it looks like it's going to be John David Washington from Tenet.
Yeah.
So that was a really interesting. We knew we're getting Green Lantern Corps, but it's been talked about for ages. We're 100% getting it. Yeah. Whether it's a TV show or a film, I don't think it's been confirmed yet. We don't really know. But John David Washington playing one of the Lanterns, playing John Stewart.
Yeah.
Iconic actor.
Big thumbs up.
Yeah.
Big thumbs up from me.
Double thumbs up. He's incredible. He's going to bring such gravitas to it. And getting to play John Stewart, I mean, that was DC's first ever black hero. That's pretty cool.
Plus, he can be a much more... he can play it quite physically. You know, he can, you know, you see that in Tenet and like Ballers, the TV show he's in. He's not scared for the rough and tumble and stuff like that. So that'll be quite interesting whether they use that. Yeah,
I definitely think it'll be good. I mean, I'm really, really... as much as Ryan Reynolds, as much as he loves his turn of what he did for Green Lantern, it's going to happen again. I think you can't ignore one of the biggest members of the Justice League. You know what I mean? He's already been left out of the film, so...
I wonder if he'll appear in the new Snyder Cut then, as a little cameo, to introduce him.
Well, I think they should.
That's not the Snyder Cut then. That's him just adding extra stuff in. That's not... You can't do that.
But again, we've already disputed this. If this was Snyder's original story and he was told no...
And he's able to finish it, yeah.
No, I don't mean that. What I mean is if he wasn't in the original story, it wasn't going to be cast, and they suddenly go, you know what, we'll put him in now just to get, you know, to link it in. That's not right. That's what
there was that scene. But there was that scene in the trailer with Batman's butler, you know, and he went, "Oh, we're glad you've arrived." And people didn't people know it was Superman, but there was a green light in his eye. And
was it not supposed to be? It was supposed to be the Green Lantern.
It had been the Green Lantern arriving.
But I know I agree. Like at the end of the day, if they are expanding on the Snyder's universe, I get what you're saying, Nathan. Like calling it the Snyder Cut is probably wrong. It's probably the Snyder correction.
Yeah.
You know what? I've got no. If it was in the script originally, and that's what he decided, however many years ago it was now, he wanted to do that. No problem with it. If he suddenly turns down in 2020, 3 years after the film, he shot the film, what he did from the film, and wrote the script, and goes, you know what? Actually, I'll bring the Green Lantern in. I don't agree with that.
No, I think from what the stuff that was leaked, it did seem like he did have mentions in the film, and also if you go to the original artwork, which will flash up as I'm talking. It was his original story of the posters was Unite the Seven, and the Seven includes the Green Lantern. So he had the idea, he was already in it. But I think he was the Green Lantern was a bloody hot potato because of the Ryan Reynolds movies. Nobody wanted to be in it.
Just another thing on the Justice League, as I was reading today, the thing about how they're going to bring the Joker, Jared Leto's Joker into it. He's going to be the person that kills Robin.
I think that was the original story as well.
Is that? Yeah.
Yeah, that was what when you seen the in the trailer, you seen the suit, and obviously it was him keeping his suit. and it was ha ha ha.
Yeah.
That was originally part of the story.
All right, okay. Yeah, that's what they were reading today. They're going to, that because everyone was asking how they're going to bring him in and what he's going to do, and that's how they're going to, it's going to be quite a small part, but that's how they're going to bring it through.
Yeah, I think that's good because, I mean, that's, again, part of the story of the development of the Joker, which I'm sure Sean will love, but having more Leto in it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's our news rundown for everything that's happened.
I don't know, but I quickly went on the internet, and apparently it might be clickbait, but apparently Amber Heard's been sacked from Aquaman.
Nah, not yet. 100%.
I just literally 10 minutes.
100% it's not happened. If
Apparently,
it has, I will nick what's left of my pint sitting here.
yeah, I went. That's why I had my background for the start, because I thought that's what you were going to mention.
No.
Mentioning Umbrella Academy 3 starting filming in February.
Woo! Good point. Yeah, I wasn't actually going to bring that. I know it's back. I think it was a bloody given anyway. You know what I mean? It's their number one show. Actually went to their number one position.
And there's about 1,000 articles online about it already, and it was only launched this afternoon.
I know. Our wee channel will just get lost in the madness if we try to make it about Umbrella Academy. There's going to be 100,000 stories talking about it.
Every single geek sort of blog or website now has got at least one article on it already.
Yeah. I just want to know. I want the Cube, wherever the Cube is, because we don't know. We've not actually caught the comics is the same position with the TV show just now.
Yeah.
So that's when it's interesting because we've got no freaking idea, and I think that's genius. I think it's a great position to be in for viewership and the comics.
Yeah. So back on that news, WeGotThisCovered.com has broken that news. It's probably clickbait and fake, but this apparently insider. But then looking back, I just Googling it, as we know, the whole Johnny Depp thing and all that's been going on. The rumours of her getting sacked from Aquaman started back in May anyway.
She should. I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, like, it's scandalous that we know the abuse that she did to Johnny Depp. We know that because, I mean, cutting his finger. She's admitted to it and an actual recorded evidence, which is online. Mm-hmm. Why is she still in the film? Why is she still got a job?
I think once because obviously she wasn't actually in court, the one with the Sun last week, over the last while in the UK. The one in the States is different. She's suing him for 50. Yeah. I mean, the other one's suing the other one for 150 million. So I think if that court case comes out and finds in his favour or finds that they're both to blame, then you'll probably find there will be some sort of action taken against her.
Good, I say.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of one person for something and not get rid of another.
Domestic abuse is domestic abuse. Doesn't matter if it's a man to woman or a woman to a man or a man to man or a woman to women or a dog to a cat. It doesn't matter. It's still the same. Any form of abuse, not tolerated. Sorry, will not happen. You should not be a public figure after that. Yeah.
But that's it. You've had our weekly rundown. There's probably going to be absolutely no news because the world's just in a big messy lockdown over the next week, but I'm sure we'll talk about bloody anything that comes up in next week's episode for the news. It's hopefully going to be a weekly thing now where we're just going to discuss absolutely everything that breaks as much as we can and just have a big long chat about it. But thank you very much for joining us for this episode. Please join us on our next episode, which we're probably going to film straight after this. So we'll all be wearing the same t-shirt, same position, same stuff, where we're going to have a look at some of the brand new trailers that have dropped over the last week and even in the last 2 hours. So we will see you then. Thank you very much, Nathan.
Cheers.
Thank you very much, Tony. We can do this all day.